If you want that to be your Twitter account, that's hey man, more power to you.
I hope that it's literally just retweets of KBMOD podcast tweets.
Intro when you can. Here's
All right, here we go. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to episode 102 of the KBMOD podcast. If you're watching live, you can see that Nick Fenton is in my room with me right now on this historic cast, and he's waving to the camera.
Why is it historic?
It's it's not really historic, but
Every
it just
cast is
is
historic
more
in its own way. We don't know why the cast hasn't happened yet, so we won't know why this one specifically is
It's like,
historic.
people get that feeling in their bones when it's going to rain, when you age. I get it right in my balls, like I'm about to come when I feel like something powerful is about to happen.
Yeah,
So,
that tingly
was-
sort of like feels like the hammer of a gun cocking back.
Yeah, exactly. It's so tight, you know what I mean? Just waiting to be released. That's kind of what it feels like, so. I mean, it could be also because I haven't gotten off in a while, but anyway.
I don't share that feeling, actually.
Let's continue.
I don't think anyone shares that feeling.
Let's continue the cast. Anyway, what's going on, guys? We got the normal crew. We've got Dan, we've got Blacklightattack, we've got Brandon, and we've got John, of course, and Nick, who's with me.
Yeah, you already mentioned that.
Yeah, I know. Okay, dude. All right, can you let me do my... It's weird when you're sitting here and looking at me, and I'm trying to do my thing. So it's a little odd. But,
look each other. Look each other in the eyes when you're talking to each other.
Oh, no. Don't make that face, dude.
Scott, what have you been playing this week?
Jesus.
Why? Can you look at me when you talk?
I can't.
Please address me while we're in conversation.
I can't look at you. This is going to go bad. All right, well, I'm not going to start. I actually do that. But, Nick, what about you? What have you been doing this week?
Thanks for looking me in the eyes this time.
You're welcome.
I've been playing Smite. And
Yeah?
That's about it. I bought some games,
And no
and I
invite.
didn't play them. I haven't bought that many games on the Steam sale, to be honest. I don't know.
Let's talk about the Steam sale.
I'm emailing Gaben
I
right
can't
now.
tell if it's because I already own a bunch of games that I already wanted, or if it's just because the selection is bad. But it seems like there's a lot of repeat things on sale. Like the same things we saw in the Christmas sale are on sale again.
Yeah, but they're more heavily discounted though. Like there are some great deals on a ton of games that I already had.
I would prefer deals on other games than more lower prices on the same games that we got last time.
Deals?
I just
new
bought
deals.
Tomb Raider.
I mean, there were a lot of deals,
Great
but they
game.
were like under
like right now.
50%. Like there were a lot of games that were like minus 33 and minus 40, like Blood Dragon.
Yeah.
Everybody got
Bioshock.
Dota 2 on sale.
My whole issue with the sale has been there's no bundles. I don't know if that was a thing.
Yeah, they removed all the publisher bundles,
the
which
pub-
were amazing.
I don't know if the publisher said no to that or if Steam said.
I don't think of any Steam sales, from what I understand, are all from. They're not controlled by Valve at all. They just have to say yes. I feel like that must have been something that they decided not to do this year, because there's not one publisher that would want to set out a bundle like they did, or at least they didn't promote it like they have in the past.
And I saw the same games go on sale.
I know
so many times. That's
Can
why
we
I was
just talk about Left 4 Dead 2 for a second? Because why are you voting for that
Every
on your
day?
community choice?
Yeah.
It is Left 4 Dead 2. It's been
But
on
wait,
sale
what?
a
It was
thousand
up against.
times.
I'm pretty sure it was up against War Z and one other thing. So let's not jump to conclusions about why Left 4 Dead won a community
Can I
choice.
admit something? I voted for Infestation Survivor
All right,
Stories.
you know what? Just kick him out.
No.
However you
Scott,
can
can
get
you
rid
just,
of him,
get him
keep
out?
you,
Scott.
Scott.
Let you sit next to me and admit that. I'm turning the camera off, and you're gonna leave. You're gonna leave.
God damn
Done.
it.
Say
Scott, you can put the camera back on. Just put a T-shirt over his head or something.
Okay. All right. We'll do that.
Make
But
him sit in the corner.
He just shut the door. He's gone.
I'm pretty sure Tomb Raider went on sale 74 times roughly during this, and Torchlight 2 as well was on sale every day, whether it was a flash or community choice, or I don't know. I feel maybe some publishers were like, we don't want to do this anymore or something. I don't know.
Could be.
It's just
I just saw the Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon's on sale. I'm buying it right now.
yeah. I bought.
I buy most of my games during the podcast.
I did buy Display Fusion today, which I waited till the last day.
Yeah, you
just
better
to
pick
see,
up Display Fusion.
But
Can I? Man. Okay. So the Steam. I don't know if this makes me less. I just wasn't excited this year for anything. I didn't buy a single thing. on the Steam sale.
Alright, well,
Not
you're
You don't
just-
play games.
No, I do play games, but
Okay,
I'm just...
that's just a fucking lie.
What? What are you talking about?
You're lying to these people.
What game? What do you mean I don't play games?
Okay.
No,
Stop chewing your gum at me
I'm
too.
chewing it like. What do you? What do you mean
mean?
I don't play games?
What do you mean?
I don't play a wide variety of games.
Is it because you owned all of the games? Like there were a lot of.
I did own a lot of them. But
Because
the
I
other
mean, like
thing is-
FTL, Hotline Miami, Just Cause 2.
I own
Like if
FTL,
you,
I own that. Yep.
yeah, I mean, if
Like
if you didn't own those and you didn't buy those, then I would slap you across the face.
Yeah.
But
Still
if
don't
you
own
already
FTL.
owned a lot of these games that were like the best deals, then I could understand not buying anything.
The thing is, the best deals were mostly things that most people already had. I mean, this was just really a good opportunity. Like, the only money I ended up spending was either things that I had like a very minor interest in. I'm like, I might get to this at some point, or like those must-have games that everybody's been talking about forever, like Blood Dragon, which I just bought. Like, it's just me catching up, and everything else. Like nothing. There was very few times I saw a certain sale go off and I was like, oh man, I've been dying for that game to go on sale. Let me finally pick that up. Like, they didn't really do that. I was really hoping for a sale on the new Deadpool game, and that didn't happen. You know, nothing.
It went on
really
sale.
impressive.
Yeah, it went
Did
on sale.
Yeah, it went on sale for like $26-ish.
It was on sale yesterday. It's probably
Damn.
still
How
on
did I
sale right
miss
now.
that?
The other thing too, though, with the whole Steam sale, this is the epidemic that happens, right? So last couple of years, I bought at least not like a ton of games, probably not
It went off sale.
of you guys, but like I bought, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 games during a Steam sale or a bundle. And this is what happens inevitably at the end when I decide, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play something new. My library is fucking massive, and I just start scrolling down, and I just get overwhelmed. I'm someone that can't have. I should be put in a cage and fed 3 times a day.
What you need to do,
And because if I have too much choice, I freeze.
What
So I
I-
always go back.
what
to
I do now is I only install the games that I know I'm going to play, and then on the Steam game like library filter, you filter by installed.
bad idea.
So you're only seeing like 20 games or something.
Yeah, I just think choice is ruining this country, and I don't want to get too dramatic about this, but I'm serious, right? Why are we as Americans? We have the most things and stuff and gadgets of any fucking culture in the world, but we are one of the most miserable fucking cultures ever. Oops, I turned my video off.
Jesus
I didn't
Christ.
mean to. Okay. But anyway, so
Yeah, it's 2013. Why isn't there somebody telling us what to do at all hours of every day? This is
That's
bullshit.
No, really. Like, I don't know. For me, it's just like, it's too much. I'm one of those, like, I think I'm just old, too. I think I'm getting old before my time. I'm like, yeah, it's just too much. It just, give me the old, you know, when I waited to have $60 to go buy my Jedi Power Battles. Okay.
That did not cost $60. I'm calling you the fuck
I
out.
think it would have.
No!
It would have
for
as a
60
new
bucks on
release. Yeah,
PlayStation.
it would have.
Or 40.
Old
45?
Super Nintendo games used to be like 70 something.
Yeah, it was the worst.
Brand new.
It's
Yeah.
scaled pretty accurately.
Well,
So maybe
not
it was
really.
50. Maybe
Not really.
Maybe it was 50. I think it was 50 for PlayStation 1, like, brand new titles back in the
Yeah.
day. Anyway, sorry. Not to rant about freedom, but...
I've also been playing some Halo, and that's about it.
Thank you for mods. Sorry. Go ahead. Halo? You
Yes.
said? You have been playing a lot of Halo. I saw you
I've been playing
streaming,
Halo.
streaming a few times.
It's quite enjoyable. I'm getting to the point in Halo 4 where it's the same with Halo Reach, where I didn't really enjoy it a whole lot at launch, and then they patch it a lot, which kind of has its pros and cons.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm finding Halo 4 a lot more enjoyable.
Good.
Thank you for typing.
All right. Who's up next here? Oh my
Call
God.
somebody.
You aren't all muted, are you? Okay, go ahead, Blacklight.
I'm waiting for you to call it, man. I actually haven't really been playing anything too new. I did take a shot at Marvel Heroes. I was looking at it, and like the more I saw about it, the more I was like, kind of, I had no interest in it. And then I saw Rocket Raccoon was in it, so I jumped on that shit like a tiger. So the first thing I did was buy Rocket Raccoon for like $12, which was ridiculous.
Yep.
And
I bought Cable. It was ridiculous.
yeah, the character prices are generally pretty ridiculous unless it's like a really common character that you can find in a drop. It's like they're supposed to be like starter characters that cost like $3 or $4,
Yeah.
and they're not too bad. But then like all the other characters are like the characters you basically really want, or like any like niche interest characters.
We've mentioned this before, but like Iron Man had a movie out, so Iron Man was $20. Like
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
how they do it. Like
Exactly, it's kind of ridiculous. So after playing it for a while, I can confirm it's boring as shit, and there's absolutely nothing special about it. I would say if you're gonna play it with friends, because you're gonna have to make your own fun, because the game itself is not that fun. It's just very grindy. Nothing that Diablo 2 was not, except better.
Yeah, pretty much.
Torchlight 2 has been on sale.
Yeah, like if you're gonna play a game like that,
game.
unless you're a huge Marvel fan and you love the Marvel universe and seeing it slightly mistreated, go ahead and buy. Go ahead and play.
If you're a Marvel fan, how about you save your money from all these transactions and just buy more comic books and get some kind of enjoyment?
Because chances are, if you buy comic books and video games, you don't have all the comic books you want, because the comic books are kind of freaking expensive.
Yeah. So put your money towards that if you're a Marvel fan.
Yes, correct. I gotta say, I'm not impressed.
Talking about comic books.
Yeah.
The only thing I have to add about comic books is I one time successfully
jerked onto
How
did I know you were gonna fucking talk about jerking off into a comic book?
You one time successfully came on a comic book, you say?
I've been
Successfully. He missed several other times.
It's part of Wolverine's origin story. He came at the part where they're doing the surgery on him, putting in the
That's
metal.
dark.
And
the worst part about that is you can only successfully do that once, because after that you can't read that comic book anymore. Those pages are all stuck together.
Pages
You have to throw it out.
Yeah, it's done. But I bought a lot of stuff that I'm going to be getting on hopefully sometime soon, including but not limited to Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, Tomb Raider, Monaco, Secret of the Magic Crystals, which was a gift from a subscriber and stream viewer Squirrel, who gave me a magical horse game that I can't wait to play.
Man.
Gunpoint, Dungeons of Dreadmore, Surgeon Simulator, all kinds of shit.
Pretty good haul.
And not bad. I've also been playing on my PS3. I've been playing Final Fantasy VII, which I'm Let's playing, and Final Fantasy VIII, which I am live streaming. I'm going to try to live stream the whole game. That'll probably take me like a million years.
Yeah, it will.
Final Fantasy VIII is really long, but
yes,
it's also a lot of grinding. So that gives me a good opportunity when I'm like grinding draw spells and stuff. It's a good time to just like talk to the chat, do like Q&As, and just it's a great game for interacting with the chat, because you can basically play a Final Fantasy game if you already know the story. You can play a Final Fantasy game like half paying attention to it.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
Great game. Well, I don't know if it's great, but I like it. I'll put it that way.
Seven's great.
Seven's great.
Seven's amazing, but eight's okay. Not as much. And eight's kind of bad.
Fantasy.
9 is Garbo. Anyway, lots of people are gonna hate me for that, but all right.
Wait, which one did you say is Garbo?
9. I don't like 9.
I disagree, but I don't care enough to argue about it with you. What is that, Orb?
Yeah, that's Orb. All the people listening to audio, we have a horrible picture of Incredible Orb being shown on the screen right now.
I think it's an incredible picture.
2013. If you're listening to well, I mean, there's good reason to listen to audio, but you should be watching live or watching the VOD. Let's be honest. That's where it's at.
Truth be told.
That's where the magic
happens. But
happens.
there are people that enjoy listening. Maybe you're driving somewhere or doing something.
What do you
I'm
selling.
If you're driving somewhere, just put the VOD on your laptop. Watch it on the VOD while you're driving.
Just some sound advice from John.
Get
We are not responsible for any
Put your
wrecks you
tower
get
into the passenger seat, buckle it in, and just watch the podcast.
All right. John, what have you been up to?
Still playing lots of WoW again. It's good. A little bit of CS:GO, a little bit of TF2. We've been playing some ARAMs at the office in League of Legends. I tried to play Battlefield 3 and I can't do it. Just can't do it, man.
Solid game, man.
Now you're ready for Battlefield 4, John. What are you doing?
I am ready for Battlefield 4. I think I am. I think I want that game, but then it's going to be Battlefield 3 again. It's going to be like, this game's really pretty. I'm going to play it for an hour. And then I'm going to have no interest in it at all.
Are you going to do a first impressions video for Battlefield 4 like you did for Battlefield 3?
Do you have, just shine flashlights into the camera? But yeah, I've been not playing as much as I should be. It's kind of a problem. I should probably get on that.
Play more games. Interesting is a good sum up of Final Fantasy 14 from what I've played so far.
That's new online?
The reboot. I got into the beta and
so it's good.
Very pretty, and it feels very smooth, but I couldn't stick with it. The intro is incredibly long, but the plus side about that game is the intro phase you only have to do once because your character can be every class, so you don't have to reroll alts ever.
Sounds Terra-ish.
Right. Well, I mean, it was like that in Final Fantasy 11 as well.
I'll probably try it just because I try every MMO.
You do try
I think
every
it's just
MMO.
how I do things. They're all
Yeah.
bad.
You
but-
should join my link shell, which is Lay Reddit Fedora Army XD.
God.
Okay. Let's go ahead and do that then.
Yes.
Guess maybe next week I'll be playing Final Fantasy, or I'll continue to play WoW because it's the best.
We only allow the midget race. I don't know what they're called, but we only allow the really, really tiny guys.
Here's
the
what's
gnomes.
the number 1-2 MMO right now after WoW? Is it
Wait, did you say
gonna
what's
say
the
Rift,
number 1 2
probably?
Or
MMO?
number 1
The
2?
number 1 2 MMO.
What is the number 1 second game in America right now?
So are we talking
It's probably Rift, I'd imagine.
Probably
Okay.
Rift.
in America? Probably
In
Rift.
America?
In the world, probably Age of Wushu or whatever that thing is. That game
Yeah.
is super popular. Pretty much everywhere. else.
Actually, maybe Guild Wars 2 still. I don't know.
Guild Wars 1 is apparently, like, I read an article the other day from the, what is it, ArenaNet? Those are the guys who make Guild Wars?
Yeah.
Yep.
Basically
Yep.
saying that Guild Wars 1, they said they have no intentions of ever shutting it down because it's doing so well still.
I kind of want to go
They-
back. I
That
kind of do.
Remember when Nick Fenton would only talk about Guild Wars 2 every podcast?
And then
that
remember
he
when
doesn't
Guild
play
Wars
it?
2 came out and it wasn't really like Guild Wars 1 at all?
And do you remember when I
Yeah.
told you in a meme over a year ago that it was going to be like that? And
No,
you-
your meme said it was gonna suck or something.
Okay, yeah, I was a little
Guild Wars
dramatic.
2
All
doesn't
Guild
suck.
Wars 2, all it needed to be was Guild Wars 1 with jumping. Like, that's the only thing they
Yeah,
needed
Guild
to change.
Wars 1 was amazing. I just think they could have just cleaned up some of the systems, and it would have been, that's the game that I wanted. And I had done enough research on Guild Wars 2 to know it wasn't going to be what Guild Wars 1 was, but I was still hoping. And
Yeah. Guild Wars 2 couldn't hold my interest, even through the leveling phase. Sometimes I just want to go back to my character and just grind out into the final levels and just see what endgame is like, but I just do not have the patience for it. The leveling experience just got really, really old right around level 50 for me. So, couldn't do it.
All right.
slash.
So that's what John was doing. What were you up to, Brandon, besides Just Cause? But what's
Yeah,
new in Just Cause? Anything?
There is some new stuff, but I think it's more like at least this test has been more like features that were kind of half baked or not working right in prior tests are now actually working. So like joining factions and being able to teleport to people in your faction, like that works perfectly fine. So that's a huge thing. There's like buying vehicles now, so you can, when you kill people, you get $100, and then you can buy vehicles, for like, I don't know, a few $100s or $1,000 or something, and all of that seemed to work pretty well during this test. So I mean, it feels a lot more polished. I'm still getting some crashes every now and then, but for the most part, it feels really good. You can actually hit people now with whatever the new hit detection is. It's not great, but it's way better than it was, which is a good and bad thing, because if you didn't like getting griefed, you
now
get
you
griefed
just
more
are
now.
going to get griefed, yeah.
Yeah, especially since people get money for killing you, so you pretty much have to stay out of like all of the cities and spawn points. But I mean, because the world is so big, it's not really a problem. And they had like over 1,000 people on pretty much all weekend while they weren't getting DDoSed, and it still seemed to run pretty smoothly. So that's been a ton of fun. I might hit some of that up after the podcast, since that test is over in like 5 hours or so. I've been playing, like John said, we play some League of Legends ARAMs in the office. I've been playing some ARAMs like normal. Played a little bit of Fez, but it's hard, and so I'm not.
Yes.
I haven't spent a whole lot of time on it because I feel like it's just going to demoralize me. And I was going to play some more CS:GO today, and I saw people in Mumble were playing it, and so I was like, all right, I'm going to give this solo queue CS:GO a try. And I did that. I joined into a game on Mirage, which is not a good map anyway. But
Is that a new map?
It's a new-ish map. I think definitely new to Go. I'm not sure how new in Go, but and we proceed to win one round, and we got destroyed. And then after the match, I see that on the other team there are 3 rank 14s out of 18 ranks. 3 rank 14s, which I had actually, before that, I had not seen anyone of that rank in a game I had played. So I feel like the matchmaking thing is such a blessing and a curse, because if you get bad matchmaking, like this has happened in Smite, in occasionally in League, but not as much. But like Smite and CS:GO, and just kind of games that are trying to feel out their matchmaking, like if the matchmaking is not really on point, you just have a terrible experience. And I feel like that's one thing where, at least back in the days of server browsers, if you had a bad experience, you would just go find another server until you kind of found a server that you clicked with, with a community that you liked and skill level that you could match. But now it's just like you're at the mercy of the matchmaking logic, and like after this CS:GO game, I don't really want to play a solo CS:GO game again because it was that bad.
Was that soul crushing of a defeat?
Yeah, it was just like 3 people on my team didn't have mics. Our ranks didn't make sense at all. Like our team
even playing placement matches with you guys, we were getting against like ranked, like people that were fully ranked, like 5 teams of 5.
No, they were not fully ranked. That's the thing. You think those ranks are high, but those ranks are like halfway up. There are 18 ranks, and these people that I played against today were rank 14, which is the highest rank I've seen so far. And like my team had like a rank 7 and rank 9, and then like me and some other scrub. So I don't know. Like I don't know how that match happened. But it was.
Do you think it's like a population issue? Like they don't have enough people in a ranked playlist to get
it
really
has
good.
To be. Like it has to be.
Well, nobody pubs that game. Like if people are playing that game, they're playing comp matchmaking. Nobody pubs.
I mean but it is ultimately a population problem. That's why I don't really have any complaints with like League, because League has such a large player base that they can always find you a reasonably suitable matchup. But like we've hit this with Smite before, where we got put against like a team of level 30 pro Smite players, and it's like
we got matched against Curse one night.
Yeah,
okay.
That'll happen. That will actually happen on Smite.
Jesus.
But it's just
God damn.
It's one of those things where like you think the matchmaking is a good thing until it puts you in consistently bad matches where you're like, I'm just not going to play this game anymore.
Speaking of Smite real quick, the other night I got matched up in the 1v1 joust queue against High-Res Bart.
Nice.
And I beat him.
No.
I was using
Ice's
Ice's
game,
pre-patch,
really?
so I don't even care.
Did you take a video or screenshot?
It's on my Twitter. It's on my pictures.
It's on my Twitter.
I was very proud of that.
I mean,
he didn't even give me riot points for winning either.
I do want to get some go going this week again in the
You should ask them for some Zen.
But I don't even with the fucking pistols in CS:GO. Jesus Christ, what is going on with the pistols? It's
the only way I can have fun is if I'm playing, with you guys or something, where at least if we lose, we can have fun when we lose. But it was the worst experience when like 3 people on my team didn't have microphones and they all couldn't get any kills. And I was just like, why did I do this? Why did I sign up? I'm just gonna have to wait out so I don't get a penalty for leaving. But it was like, I don't want to play this game anymore.
Yep.
Well,
yeah, we'll rectify it.
And I did buy a few more Steam games. I bought Gary's Mod finally. I bought Castle Crashers, which John and I are gonna play, and maybe others. And I don't know. I normally don't buy a ton of games on Steam sale because I know that my Steam backlog is never going to recover. But I actually bought like 6 or 7 games this Steam sale, and I probably only spent maybe $30. I can't argue with that.
So Scott,
yeah,
he's currently just.
Sorry, I was stalking his Twitter.
Yeah, he was creeping my Twitter feed
really
hard.
What have you been up to?
What I've been up to? Well, this week, let's see. I played. Oh Jesus. I played the Pacific Rim game on Xbox Live. That's $10.
I saw that.
And that was.
There's so much potential for that game.
I've
heard great things about the movie. Actually, for the
it
most
didn't
part.
suck. Yeah. Well,
it's just like a fighting game, right?
Yeah, it's a fighting game.
See, what they should have done is there's these Godzilla games like a few years back, but it's a fighting. It's still a fighting game,
I remember.
But it's got like buildings and stuff.
Yeah, I remember that game.
Done that game, but with Pacific Rim
Rampage World Tour.
That's it. Yes.
That's what they should have done, and it would have been amazing.
Yeah, it's cool. Like the characters feel like they have weight and everything. And if you saw the movie, I mean, it's kind of cool. It's a $10 game though. I don't know if they have it for Steam or if they'll release it. Probably, I don't know. But it was all right. I played some of that. I'm trying to think what else. I don't really play much this week. Just mostly stuff at work. But I want to get back into CS:GO this week, Brandon. Like we did. Well, actually, was that last week that we played? I feel like there was a week in between.
Yeah,
it was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
so we got to get back into that. And like you said, yeah, I'm definitely not going to be running, even tempted to run Go by myself. That's like playing. I mean, the same thing too, though. I mean, I think that's just a reality of. I guess what you're arguing is that it seems worse in those two games, or it happens more often. But even like,
well, it's all a function of player base, and that's
yeah.
it's just it gets exaggerated. Like I wouldn't have thought it would be that bad in CS because there's like 14,000 people online, and I'm not sure how many of those are like eligible for the matchmaking queue at any given time. But I would have thought they could find a better match than that.
Yeah,
but
totally.
At least if you're playing with friends, you can rage together at the other team and call them hackers. Whereas when I'm playing by myself, I just sit here in solitude, hating myself.
Yeah, someone's reminding me that I also played Dream Divers, another great. Don't look at me like that with your hair, Jesus Christ! I played Dream Divers, another Xbox Live. We played a bunch of indie games that gave me cancer. One's like I played one that's like Monkey Flings Poo or something like that. God, there's so much cancer. Microsoft.
You need to play Zombie Turkey Outbreak on.
Yeah, I saw you.
I remember you playing that. Yeah,
that's a great game.
Well, here's the thing. You would think there would be less shit on Xbox Live Arcade with the amount of cost.
You're wrong.
With the cost to get on there, you would think, but no.
I don't know how. Do they charge them the indie titles to be on there?
John?
Like, is there a fee?
I have no idea. I would assume there's some kind of fee to get on there, but I bet the additional fees are probably with promoting your game.
What were you saying, John?
The Xbox Live Arcade has always had really good games, though. I mean, one of my favorite games of all time, Geometry Wars. Like
the arcade generally has some. Well, there are some not so good games, but there are some pretty damn good arcade games.
It's mostly when you go into
the indie arcade stuff. That's where all the garbage.
There still has to be a fee. There has to be.
Yeah.
Someone's saying 20K in chat. I don't know. Maybe.
I feel like
that's to patch your game. It probably is 20K to put it there too. I'd imagine.
I don't see how any indie developer would use their money to do that on Xbox. That doesn't make any sense because I feel like these games are not selling enough for 20,000. Like they're all going for like $1, $2, and they're like in the way back behind everything.
Some people that make these should be put down. They should be put down.
Some of them are not awful.
They should be put down. Phil Fish could take a shit better than 99% of those
let's not
titles.
get crazy.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm not a huge Phil Fish fan, but seriously. And also, real quick on Pacific Rim. I saw some talking chat about it. That movie for the whole week, everyone at Machinima has just been coming up my face about how great it was over and over again. And I went with pretty high expectations. Sark and I went to see it, and I didn't really dig it as much as other people did. I
really enjoyed it, but I don't understand where all this hype is coming from. Yeah, I'm not in any way gonna say it was a bad movie. I really enjoyed it, but I don't see why everybody's saying like it's a must see. It's like the best thing I've ever seen. It was really fun. But that's all it was.
I think the reasoning behind that is Bombcast talked about this week is that it's so dumb, but it got made somehow as a big budget movie. Yeah. And like it got made, but it's dumb in the best way possible. Like that's why they were like, you should go see it. Like it's not
totally.
It's not that it's like the greatest film ever made, but like.
No, just alone for the CG and stuff is incredible. Some of the fight, a lot of the fight scenes are awesome. The effects are great. I mean, the script is like for me though, I just haven't I could not tap. I wasn't in the mood to tap into my 12-year-old. Like the dialogue and the characters are so fucking stupid. That like I get that it's like fucking supposed to be. It's like it's a kids movie. It's fucking Del Toro being 12 years old and making a film, and it's awesome that it happened. But I wish I would have been. I don't know why I wasn't as prepared. I guess I thought it would be a little bit more leaning towards adult. Not that Transformers is in any way, and I'm not saying Transformers is great, but it leans a little more. It tries to be a little more serious, and I feel
Transformers is a more adult take on a cartoon, which is really silly, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought it was going to go more that angle. Pacific Rim is its own thing. I don't know. There was moments in there where I'm sitting there and I'm like, God, enough with this fucking terrible dialogue and trying to make me care about these characters. Just get back to the fighting. But I mean, to be granted, there's a lot of it. But yeah I don't know. I wasn't mesmerized with it, but
I do think that the dialogue did tend to drag on a little bit. But generally speaking, I think they showed pretty good restraint on not just relying on the characters to carry the movie. In the end, it was really carried by the fights between robots and monsters, which is what everybody was there for anyway.
Exactly, yeah. That's what it should have been carried by. And plus, the Asian chick didn't get naked, so,
Big negative.
I have
she
to
wasn't
say,
really even that hot, to be honest.
I have to say, I'm really glad they didn't take the obvious bait of male and female partner and then trying to turn it into like a romantic subplot. I think they kind of left it open to interpretation based on what the audience wanted it to be, and that's what I liked. I really didn't want to see them end with a big passionate kiss or any kind of bullshit like that, and they didn't. So I think that was well done. I spoiled what the ending was not.
No, yeah.
There's still infinite amount of things. For all you know, he put it in her ass at the end.
Yes, no kisses.
That's in a very non-romantic way.
Is the anal? It's actually DP too.
Yeah, it's actually just a sudden close up of an anus, and it's kind of open to interpretation. As I said, it's open to interpretation, so you don't know whose anus it is, but it's suddenly one of those like uncomfortably close up views, and then just dick plunges right into it, and then the screen just cuts to black.
There it is. Credits. Roll.
Well, no, that's after the credits. Then the lights come on.
Well, speaking of weird sex, I have a story to tell about what I did.
This can only be a good segue.
So if you're watching this, you can tell by how fried I am. I was majorly sunburnt. I went on a canoe trip this weekend, and we go up kind of north of Pittsburgh, and we drop in the water, and then we go about 18 miles, and then we get out, and we always camp on an island about halfway on the trip. So we stopped at an island, though, on the way in to our camping spot. And this dude drives up with his boat. And, like, keep in mind, we are in the middle of nowhere. So, could be anything. This dude, we know nothing about this guy. So he comes up, he's drinking a beer, and he comes up and sees us, talks to us for a little bit, and then we both kind of go our own ways, and then we get to our camping spot about an hour and a half later, and he ends up showing up that night when we're, like, drinking around the campfire.
Oh, God.
And let me go back to before we even left for this. The one dude was looking up directions because he had never been up to where we were dropping in the water. And I don't know if you know this, but when you search places, some of the top Google search results are like sex offenders in this area. So, like, yeah, that's true. So if you put in, like, Philadelphia, it'll put, like, sex offenders in Philadelphia will be, like, one of the top Google things on there. So
the answer is everybody for that one.
The answer is everybody. And my buddy was like, the place we were at had, like, a population of, like, 200. And there were 5 sex offenders, 200 people.
That's not a good disturbing amount of percentage, yeah.
But anyway, so we get to camp. I get really, really drunk and pass out. And then I wake up in the middle of the night, and I hear...
Oh, dear God.
No.
He's touching your wiener.
No. He's sitting by the fire. He's sitting by the fire talking with everybody. And I just hear him go, man, one time when I was masturbating, I just thought of my cousin that I fucked once. And we were just like... What? And then he proceeded to tell us how he had fucked his cousin, and then it turned into other cousins that he had also fucked. And then...
Cousin harem, dude.
Yeah, no, and then he warned us, he said, no one fucks with mama, and no one fucks with grandma. He's like, if you fuck with grandma, I'll fucking kill you. I'll fuck, like, this dude. And then he told us that his name...
Campfire?
Yeah, he's just a random dude. And he's like, you know my name, Robert. It's Trebor backwards. We're like...
What the fuck? That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Hey.
Like, he's wasted, too. This is, like, the middle of the night.
Yeah, I would hope so.
His name is Robert.
No, it's Robert. But he said his name backwards was Trebor.
It's
not.
Trebor.
It's Trebor. It's not... So he had sex with 3 of his cousins, and you don't fuck with grandma. and we also ended up giving one of our friends gave his number to this guy. What a mistake! What a mistake!
What a mistake!
So we hope we never run into this guy out on the river again.
Terrifying,
but it
dude.
was we were like, this is gonna turn into some fucking.
Dude, you could have been like that. Could have become like a family. Like instead of like that could have been a family gang raping. You guys could have woke up and just
My buddy Jeremiah had like his hatchet and K-bar like just stuck in a stump by the fire, and he like went to go check on them like several times while this guy was there. Like he was like, oh my god.
And he just like invited himself in, kind of deal, or what? Or you didn't know, like?
Well, like he showed up at the island before and was like a nice dude, just like a regular dude,
right?
Like just out on the river because there's
Then
plenty of people on the river. Yeah,
and then the alcohol started flowing.
He showed up later at our camp and was like, let's drink again, guys. And this was like later at night. Yeah, and then like he randomly that masturbating cousin thing that was random. There was no prompting. He was just like, and then he kept telling us about how like. Women need to be kept in check and stuff, and then someone was like, "Are you beat women?" He's like, "I ain't no women beater." Like it was just like it just got so bizarre. Yeah, and he wouldn't shut up. Sean is right. Sean was up for most of this. I was blackout. I was blackout for most of this, but
I could see Sean killing a guy.
Yeah.
Can anyone else see that? Like a guy that needed to be killed. He just puts a hatchet in the guy's neck. And he's just like. It had to be done.
Well, so we wake up the next morning, and my buddy who had looked up the sex offenders was like, I'm pretty sure that dude was one of them. Like, he's like, I'm pretty sure. I don't have confirmation yet, but that it was. But and then we woke up in the morning, and he was gone. Like, he was gone when I woke up. I don't know when he left. I guess the dudes were stayed up, and, like, he left when people were still awake. But he, every time we would hear a boat motor in the morning, we like all got on edge for like a little bit, like, oh no, he's coming back, and then he never did, thank God. But he did end up calling my buddy Casey, who gave him his number and said he had a great time.
you might have to kill Casey just so you don't have any remaining links to this guy.
I know. Yeah.
Casey's also a strange fella. So.
He is a strange fella, but yeah.
At least you guys didn't get raped or killed. That's positive.
But it was a good weekend overall, minus the
fact that your face is like.
Yeah, well, incest guy was more of a danger, I feel, but.
Yeah.
Oh man, that one time.
Just fucking fucked my cousin.
I mean, he ain't no woman beater, but
nobody
didn't say
fucks
nothing
with
about
grandma.
men.
Nobody fucks with grandma. Fucks with grandma. I don't know what
fuck
it
his
means.
grandmother.
Yeah.
There's somebody in this world whose the last thing they heard was nobody fucks with grandma.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Well, it's like I guess like that's the line he draws. It's
Yeah.
like no one else is really off limits, but
Yeah, we're like, God, I hope we don't run into any of Trebor's cousins. Trebor.
Or his grandma. You definitely don't want to run into his grandma.
Yeah, why was he worried about his grandmother?
Yeah,
You're out in the middle of nowhere.
That's weird.
Are any of y'all gonna pursue my grandmama?
Dude, it was so. There was even more crap that I'm forgetting that he said. He never stopped talking once.
Wow.
Once he like, oh man. But
Those erections better not be pointed towards my grandma.
What are your coordinates, your grandmother? I'll pull up my compass and point my dick in her general direction.
I mean, it was definitely one of the weirdest things I've ever experienced. But as far as games I've been playing, we've been playing Super Street Fighter 4 a bunch. KBMOD community as a
you guys
whole
had the fight night.
has
You guys
been.
had a
They've
fight
had
night?
three fight nights. We've had. We only have one stream, but people have been doing them on their own. But that's been super fun. People living off the Evo hype still, but definitely having fun. The online, there's some really good online players on PC, and the netcode isn't that bad for Street Fighter 4. I always hear about how bad netcode is for every fighting game, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, Street Fighter 4 on all platforms is known for having pretty good netcode.
However,
it still has its problems.
If you get a dude with like even just yellow,
yeah,
like even then you're like, oh man, there's going to be some lag during this. But overall, it's pretty good. I've also been playing through Tomb Raider, which is an awesome game. And if you are a completionist, it is really a game for you. It takes a while to start. Like, it's a slow starting game. But once it picks up it's like 2.5 hours. It's not bad for the first 2.5 hours, but the pacing is just kind of off. But once you get past that, it just goes insane for like.
It goes right into like the traditional Tomb Raider, like do a mission and get a new thing, do a mission, get another thing.
Yeah,
like,
and there's like tons of optional tombs, which you really should do. I didn't realize I should be doing them until later on, but you get talent points that way and other stuff.
We're gonna have an update here in a second.
We're
updating. Just bought Tomb Raider.
Yeah, it's a deal for $12.49. I'm 9 hours in, and I still have a couple hours left. I think someone told me so. So it's 11 hours for just if you play through the single player. It's beautiful too. I mean, if you have the hardware to run it at full bore, it is amazing.
Turn that hair quality all the way up.
Yes, make sure you
ruin
turn
your
those
FPS.
Those Tress effects on.
If you guys are still doing those fight nights, I might pick up Street Fighter 4 for PC.
People have been grinding it out, so. But, excuse me. But yeah, and I got a new dog, and he's a big lanky dude. He's pretty sweet though.
How old?
He is 6 months old.
6 months.
But he just lays around. He's a big lazy guy. But him and Olive are getting along well when he's not trying to have sex with her, even though they can't do anything.
Well, it's a dominance thing.
Yeah, she's correcting him.
What's his name? Trebor?
His name is not Trebor, although I wouldn't put it past Trebor to have sex with the dog.
What if one night you're walking through your house and it's completely dark and all you see is the silhouette of Gino and he's like, all of a sudden the dog starts talking. He's like, Gino backwards is Trebor.
I would
and
probably
suddenly you realize it's the guy.
Oh god!
And then he does Animorphs and he turns into this guy.
Oh, my life would be... I would set the house on fire with my family in it just to get rid of this evil, this evil Trebor.
Oh my god!
Yeah, just come in. No one fucks with Grandma.
And Gino says, "No one fucks with
Grandma."
It's written on the floor in paw prints.
But that is what we've been gaming. That was what we've been gaming. We're gonna take a couple-minute commercial break. Only 45 minutes into the podcast, and then we will be right back.
Oh my god!
You know Robert backwards.
How does Tomb Raider handle keyboard and mouse, or have you been playing?
I played the entire game on keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. I played the whole thing on keyboard and mouse.
If you're the kind of person where third-person shooter is gonna bother you, I guess, but I've never had that issue.
Yeah, turn your sensitivity down. At least I had to.
I play on like the lowest possible for every game, so.
But the shooting and combat in that game is quite good.
Yeah.
I mean, I said this week I would put it so far. Obviously, there's still a lot of games to come out this year. It would be in my top 3 finalists for Game of the Year if I had to make nominees now. But obviously, a lot of
good.
Games. Yeah, it's pretty damn good, dude.
It's a good reboot.
She's a great
Is it a reboot?
character. Yeah, it's a reboot. It's a reboot. She's a new Lara Croft, kind of.
What did you say about her as a character?
With the same.
I think she's a good character.
Okay.
I think Lara's a good character in that.
I
I think
think I
she's
would be
the
more
only good
interested in-
character in that whole game, but she's good.
I would be more interested in a Lara Croft in a sequel than because it's obviously it's her origin story kind of thing. So
Right.
she's not like, I don't know. I feel like you can be more complex after you get past the whole like, hey, she's the Lara Croft now.
Mm-hmm.
So be cool.
I just really like how they didn't really sexualize her like in the previous games, and I feel like overall...
Oh, yeah.
Which is not
Arma
true
3's
at
great.
all.
I know, it's really not true.
You got Arma 3?
She's so...
Yeah, we played a bunch the other night. Me, Chez, Respected, Lebo. It was good.
I do have to say... Sorry.
Go ahead.
Different conversations going on. You guys go ahead.
Were you playing like straight Arma 3 or like...
No, Wasteland.
Okay.
The best
It's
thing
incredible.
about Tomb Raider is that they throw back when she's crawling through a tight space. They throw back to the old like
Cutscene?
no, the angle was it a cutscene when she crawls and her ass is just at the camera like in the old games? They kind of throw back to that.
Yeah.
Like her ass is just right at the
there's callback
camera.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the camera zooms in when she slides through a small space. Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's
not like super. It's kind of subtle, but not really. More subtle than previous titles where it's just like ass tits. Yeah.
yeah, pretty much
Monster energy.
pretty monster energy. All right, all right, we are back from commercial. And up first here, we have a piece of news that will interest all two of you that pre-ordered one of these. The NVIDIA Shield is finally shipping on July 31st. So if you have a 600 series card, you can actually do something with it. I think it has to be 600 or better. But if not, you bought an Android handheld. Congratulations.
You probably just shouldn't buy one of these.
Wow.
I've heard it's cool.
No, I really don't. I just don't see. I think I would.
How much is it?
300.
This is very much a wait and see, and maybe version 2 like type purchase.
I would go with that.
Yeah, it depends on what kind of support it's gonna get.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. You should not be an early adopter on this.
Let me tell you someone who definitely shouldn't buy this. His name is NFEN. Today, while I was at his house, he took his PSP off of his
Vita,
or his
It's
PS
a
Vita
Vita?
off of his desk, and said, "There's two things good about this
There's
device."
one thing good and there's one thing
Okay,
bad.
tell him what you said to me.
The one thing that's bad is that I haven't used it in a week and a half.
Okay.
The thing that's good is that it's been sitting on my desk in the same spot for a week and a half, and it's only at 50% battery.
Solid.
There you go.
It's got a pretty beast battery.
So if you don't play it, but the battery's pretty solid.
It's keeping a charge.
Well, the whole thing is, are you getting a PlayStation 4?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
then
one of the main
you'll
reasons I
you'll
got
have
it,
a good use for it.
both
yeah,
sides.
yeah.
Well, supposedly.
Supposedly, yes. But yeah,
I guess yeah. You only game on it though. You don't use it for does it have a Netflix app and
the
shit?
Shield.
I think it might have a Netflix app. I think
What,
it has
the
like
Vita?
Skype and Twitter,
Yeah.
The
stuff
Vita
like that.
or the
But
Shield?
I'm not gonna like it has a web browser on the Vita. It's like I'm not gonna use a web browser on the Vita.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a smartphone, so
Well, the only redeeming quality, if you already have a smartphone, I wouldn't get a Shield. But a Shield, it has an Android OS running underneath. So, it's basically an Android device, unless you're using NVIDIA's top side hardware, or top
Let's
side
back
software.
up a second. If you don't have a smartphone, you definitely should not buy
Yeah.
this. You
Well,
should
yeah.
get a smartphone.
if you want to game on an Android platform and you already have a phone or a tablet or something like that on Android that's powerful enough to play games anyway, then it's probably not worth your money to go and buy a Shield. If you're if the remote play kind of thing ends up being cool, then potentially, but
Yeah.
I just don't think NVIDIA's done a great job of selling the value proposition for this
I
product.
would agree with you there. Also, the fact that you have to own a 600 series card, that shuts out the entire mainstream market pretty much.
No, you don't have to. You have to do that for the streaming thing.
Yeah,
but you can
what's
play
the
games
point of this
natively.
device?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is that there's if you don't own an NVIDIA 600 or series better card, then one kind of landmark feature of the device is not even available to you, and so then it's just like a handheld Android thing. But there are so many other Android devices that are going to be better suited for using Android that I personally don't really see the appeal of this product. I don't think NVIDIA has done a great job of selling that.
Brandon, it may have more battery life than the PS Vita if you leave it on your desk for a week, though. We can't underestimate that.
Yeah.
I would bet it doesn't.
Yeah, that's probably
I would bet the battery life is terrible if I had to guess.
So, moving on to another weird piece of hardware. The AMD FX 9000 chips, I believe, are in stock now at retailers. This is an older story that I have in here. But, alright, here's the deal. They use a lot of power. They aren't going to be better than Intel chips still in single-threaded performance, but they do run at 5 gigahertz with the turbo boost. Yay, I guess. And oh my god, the price. The price, my friends. The price.
Yeah, that the price
$829.
is just ridiculous.
$829 for the
Thank
FX
you.
9590. I just what
I mean, if you piss money, then sure.
No,
But if you're-
not even then.
Oh,
If you
No?
want a
No.
worse piece
You
of
can get a
hardware,
3930K for $500.
that's true.
you could get a better processor and a nice video card for that.
You could
Yes.
spend $150
You get a
more.
3570K and 770
Yeah.
and be good.
Or if you're insane, you can just go and get an Extreme Series Intel chip for like $150 more, and it's gonna shit all over that thing.
I guess
Like,
if you're
$3930K
$150 in.
3930K is considered an extreme edition, and it's $500.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you want like Haswell E or IVE or whatever, it's gonna be like $1,000. But if you're gonna spend $850 on an AMD processor, why not just go whole hog for something with? I mean, I don't understand why they're doing this. The speed.
I don't really know who they're selling this
to. The speed doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can make it as fast as. It doesn't matter. I don't understand. And it looks like the 9590 isn't in stock yet. That's what
Yeah, it is.
like.
You can get it on Newegg.
Oh, can you? I was looking on Tiger Direct because that was the link in here.
No, you can,
But,
it's available on Newegg for $900, and I don't know why you would buy that. I mean, we've talked about this before, but like actual speed, like clock speed, is not nearly as important as it used to be. Like in the older days, you used to be able to tell a lot about a processor based on its clock speed, and if something was 2.8 gigahertz and something else was 2 gigahertz, more or less the 2.8 was the one you would want. But that's not the case anymore. Like that's one piece of the puzzle when you're looking at like the speed and performance of a CPU. And I feel like, I mean, I haven't seen benchmarks, so I can't say exactly, but like I think saying that it's the world's first commercially available 5 gigahertz processor.
It's only 5 gigahertz on turbo too. It's not natively.
Yeah, but I'm saying I feel like that's where they're trying to differentiate it. Like, hey, you can't get a 5 gigahertz processor from Intel, but anyone who knows computers is going to know that, all right, whatever, but like I can overclock to 5 if I really wanted to, but I don't necessarily need 5 gigahertz of speed, and you're still probably not beating Intel in benchmarks.
Here's the hysterical thing to me is it's a 220 watt processor. 220 watts. Mine is like 30. Like it's just like, so if you build one of these, right, here's the deal. You're going to spend $900. You're going to have to get a liquid cooler because it's going to run hot as balls. It doesn't come with a cooler either, by the way. And you're going to have to get a PSU that's like ridiculously expensive to power all this shit.
3930K's TDP is 130.
Yeah. So I just
my 3930K on an H100 will idle in the 20s. And under load it gets to the 60s.
I just don't understand the
AMD.
chip, that's all.
I'm saying like a good cooler on that chip's gonna idle in the 40s and load in like the high 70s probably.
Yeah.
With that much power.
It's
why would they come out with something that price? Like I feel like they should they should be sticking with their whole like AMD. It's good for budget builds. Hey.
Yeah, like that FX 6300. That's a solid little budget processor to use. Like, I just don't understand.
Yeah, so just to give you an idea, that $900 chip is a TDP of 220 watts. 3930K, which is an Extreme Edition processor, is 130 watts. A 4770K, which is like the processor, the flagship processor that like I would recommend for most people who have that kind of budget, that TDP is 84 watts. So you're talking about 4770K is almost a little over a third of the TDP of this chip. Like I just don't know why you would want to burn all that power.
But
crazy.
All right, moving on to Ubisoft saying dumb stuff, but not really. I don't know. Depends on how you want to look at this. It depends on how you want to look at this.
That's a great intro. I'm looking forward to this discussion.
So Ubisoft says the only games worth making are ones that they can turn into franchises and do each year. I mean,
Assassin's Creed.
I guess.
I guess that kind of makes sense when you're talking about in-house Ubisoft.
Yeah,
I mean they have other developers.
Sense, but making a game every year, no. That's how you're getting.
Yeah, that part, no. The franchising part, I can understand from a business side because it's Ubisoft wants to, and their in-house stuff, they want to, obviously they want to make a lot of money off of it, so they want to make a franchise. But they can have other developers and then publish games for the games that they don't necessarily want to have franchises.
Here's the thing. I think this sentiment is just basic game development 101.
Yeah.
Every time you make a game, you should be you should be trying to make a game that is good enough to warrant sequels that people will want to buy.
Well,
So,
we know that Far Cry
I don't
4
think I
is coming
necessarily
out.
agree with that.
why wouldn't you agree with that?
Nick,
you can be
come on.
you should be able to feel as a developer that you can make your one game, do what you wanted with it, and then just be done with it.
Yeah, no. But that should be your choice whether or not you choose to make a sequel or not. You're always going to be striving to make games that are good enough to warrant making a sequel.
I mean,
I think that sort of limits your developers and your creative team. If somebody is writing a story that they think should just be a one-off, there are some really powerful just one-off stories that didn't need any sequels or prequels or anything like that work perfectly fine on their own. And what they're basically doing here is just limiting themselves. From a business standpoint, no, it makes sense to only pursue stories that can have multiple parts and do them well enough to follow up. But there are some games, and I'm not necessarily talking about Ubisoft games here, but there are some games that do not need sequels or prequels or sidequels or anything like that. Final Fantasy VII is an example of
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed is a good example. Final Fantasy VII is an example of a game that has a lot of sequels and prequels that all did nothing but detract from the fucking story.
I would not put it. I just had Assassin's Creed 1, I would not be happy with that at all.
No, that's not what I'm saying about Assassin's Creed. I'm saying we got 3. They kind of all continued the same story, and then now we're with pirates. That's all I'm
Assassin's Creed
saying.
is the fucking die
Now
already.
it's just pirates. Yeah, and next year it'll be spacemen instead.
Indians.
That's all I'm saying. If that's
Actually, I want to play that in space. Think of the parkour
The
opportunities on the
low
moon.
gravity parkour.
Low gravity.
I'm
Lance
just-
Armstrong was
I'm
an
just saying,
assassin.
but if that is if that is,
I'm not heavily researched into Assassin's Creed 4, so I don't know what since Assassin's Creed, the story is made up of in-animus, story, and then there's the real world story stuff. I don't know what the story for Assassin's Creed 4 is looking like
Nick,
necessarily.
it's pirates.
Is it just pirates story,
it's
or is
pirates.
there an outside story as well? Because
No,
that could be a completely new storyline.
No, the problem is the rum is gone, and no one knows why. So the question that needs to be answered here is, why is the rum gone? That's it.
I'm just saying, saying this does not surprise me at all. Because look at Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Ubisoft made that, and that was like playing off of a franchise's success. And I think that's a great example of a really smart development choice by a developer that you typically wouldn't think would do something like that.
And they're making a second one now.
Right, but okay. I mean, regardless, I think you can still take some risks and some some creativity and make a game that you still, when you're making the first one, you think you can think about second, third, fourth, and ways to make sequels. Whether you choose to do those sequels or not is beside the point. As Ubisoft, I would expect them to always be thinking, is there a way that we could potentially, if this becomes a success, make other games, either side shoots or sequels off of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I just think.
Are we talking about the merits of this conversation coming from Ubisoft or the you know what I mean? Because Capstar made a good point about how that's just the way entertainment industry thinks. They're not going to make a movie. I mean, obviously there are exceptions. Obviously, there's a lot of movies that don't have sequels if it's a single story. But the machines are all things that are going to be able to be made into 3, 4, 5 movies.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
and look at something like Watch Dogs. Okay, Watch Dogs could be like a one-off thing.
True.
But maybe you turn that into Watch Dogs 2, 3, 4 because you want to add more features and as games continue to grow and be more connected, you can actually realize some of the connected features right now that are kind of pipe dreams. So Watch Dogs doesn't necessarily have to be a one-off thing, but it could be made that way, and if it's commercially successful, of course they're going to try and figure out ways to to make sequels off of that IP. That's what every game development company does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, moving on to a couple good guy Valve stories. The Sven Co-op guys, I believe that is their name, who have made co-op mods for Half-Life and Half-Life 2, I believe. They've been given basically, they're going to be a standalone on Steam. First of all, you'll be able to download the mod as a standalone, which Valve does not do with every mod. You can't just, a lot of it's through Workshop and that kind of thing now. But they're basically going to be also giving them the content access to the content delivery system, which not every game has either, to push updates to this mod. So they've taken a liking to the modders' work so much that they're actually allowing them to basically become part of the ecosystem that modders are not usually privy to. As far as being able to push direct updates for their games and that kind of thing. I also would like to try this now that I know it exists. A co-op Half-Life or co-op Half-Life 2.
I'll play with your boy.
But
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, pretty cool thing for Valve to do there, to take notice of those guys and put that on as a game. It'll have a game.
We should just do like a Valve Watch segment where it's just like, what fucking cool shit did Valve do this week, and then we can like have a little jingle as it comes in.
Praise Gaben.
Yep.
But they also did this big launch of Pipeline, which is a thing to help high school kids get into game development. And they have some high schoolers working at Valve on the website and things. How cool would it be to be in high school and working with Valve directly?
And that's gonna be fucking amazing on those kids' resumes.
Crazy.
That's already getting them work experience. That there's always the catch-22 of I need experience to get a job, but I can't get experience without a job, kind of thing. These kids are already getting experience, and like I have a lot of friends who graduated. I mean, there are tons of game development schools out these days, but it's a nightmare trying to break into games development. That's why indie has become such a huge thing, because you don't have to rely on getting a job at a big company anymore. But this is going to help people get into the workplace that way. These kids are going to grow up to be adults with job experience.
Going to be in one of the best environments in the world.
Yes.
Which actually might taint their work later, because then they'll be like, wow, everything sucks compared to when I worked at Valve.
Gaben used to walk around my work halls. Now it's fucking Bobby Kotick.
I thought initially when I heard about it that this was a pipeline simulator. So I guess
I thought it was an Alaskan pipeline.
Yeah, well, that'd be cool.
That's pretty hot.
See, the cool thing about a lot of the things that Valve does is that they're incentivized just to further and advance the industry in general. Because if they get more people interested in making games, those people are going to be interested in putting those games on Steam. So it's like their incentive is just to make the game industry better.
Of course.
Even though I feel like at this point the games that they make that are living on their service are almost like side projects, because Steam, the platform, is really what rakes in all the money.
So, what's up?
Yeah,
Alex
cool.
is in the chat. Hello, Alex.
Oh.
Smash the black.
Oh, there you
Smash the blacks.
And the last news story I have in here is 420 Smoke a J with your boy.
I remember. I put that.
There's no link to the story.
There's no link. But new releases this week, only a couple, and one of which I bought because it was $2 off. But hey, it's still cheaper than it will be at release. Shadowrun Returns comes out July 25th. This is one of the big Kickstarter games.
I backed it.
Hex also backed it, so both of those dudes might already have keys, I think.
You can thank Nick Fenton and Hex for this being possible.
Yes.
So. Welcome.
So I bought it because the trailer actually kind of sealed it for me, the last trailer they had out, which was all gameplay, by the way, for those of us who bitch about trailers not having gameplay. Also, Will Smith has invaded the document once again. What a beautiful man. And also, July 23rd, some game called The Raven, Legacy of a Master Thief. Never heard of this in my life, but it's coming out on Tuesday.
I was really hoping it was going to be the Raven movie game with John Cusack.
Dude, what a shit movie.
Damn it.
Holy fuck, that movie is terrible.
Then the Raven. Oh god, that was so fucking terrible.
If it could just be Thief Deadly Shadows without the retarded plot that happens about halfway through, it would be great.
Wait. NASCAR 2013 is out in 3 days? Holy shit.
Damn.
Alright, never mind. That is the biggest release.
Somebody call Jordy.
We own that, and we're going to be playing it on stream. NASCAR 2013 Road to the Nextel Cup coming to a
for the most boring stream on Twitch TV.
It's going to be amazing.
Listen, just drive the cars backwards and you'll have 40,000 people in there. Don't worry.
All right, well that was the news.
Update, I just bought Shadowrun Returns.
Well played.
Yep. Thank you.
Turn-based old school RPG. Anyway, we'll be right back after a couple-minute commercial break with some Twitter.
I assume there's going to be multiplayer in Shadowrun?
No.
That's
No,
upsetting.
there won't be. That is upsetting, and a lot of people were mad.
Mistakes were made.
But
Yeah,
I'm
let's
still
get
gonna
mad
play
about a
it.
game that wasn't even going to be a thing.
I am upset because I assumed there was going to be when I bought it, but I'm still going to play it. So
it's going to be a really good RPG. So.
Yeah.
Why do you keep shaking your head about Shadowrun? It's not even the same as the shooter.
Okay.
At all.
It's
just
not
think it's a
completely
actually.
different game.
It's not the same.
Anytime I
as the
hear you
shooter.
in Shadowrun, I just shake my head because you just won't shut up about that game.
You never played it, so
I
don't
watched-
pass
I-
judgment.
I watched you play it, and I was like, yeah, that's good.
I don't know if your guys' marriage is going to work.
I don't know. A lot of turmoil right now.
There's a lot,
No,
yeah.
no,
There's a
we're
lot of
not.
turbulence.
You're gonna need to get separate
Don't touch
beds.
right now, Nick.
Lucy and Ricky, separate beds.
This is
Yeah.
unwanted touch.
I always
Nicholas.
laugh at that whenever I see it in an old TV show for some reason. I don't know
I
why.
have latched on.
This is why you.
This is why I pity people who listen to audio only.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they can't watch this drama unfolding on the screen
It's-
next to me.
It's just so real with the VOD.
Ugh. Where you at, commercial?
You guys wear socks to bed?
No,
No.
but I.
What type of
Well,
question?
actually, Scott.
Sometimes I forget, but I 99% of the
What
time.
made you think of this?
No,
I'm
real
wearing
quick.
socks right now.
Oh my god! What the fuck went through your brain?
You're actually supposed to sleep better with socks on.
Really?
don't.
Why is
That's
that?
actually a scientific thing.
I run hot, so
yeah,
I
but it
eat.
hurts. Like,
Yeah.
have you ever worn socks for so
depends
long
on
during
the
the day that
temperature.
when you take them off, it it hurts?
Sometimes this is what I
Yeah.
like to do. I always like to keep my house like a fucking cave. So what I can do though with socks on is I can put my feet out from underneath my warm blanket. With the socks on, the temperature is
No,
just
that's
perfect.
how you get pulled out of your bed by a demon.
No, but it's like a good mix. But if I didn't have socks on, it's too cold. Anyway.
So by a cave you meant it's cold, like cold in caves. I
Yeah,
thought you
yeah.
meant,
Like it's just I keep the temperature low, but so if I put my bare feet out, it would be too cold.
Okay,
If I
I
have
thought-
socks on, it's like perfect.
I thought you meant there was no furniture, but there was like a bear
Oh.
somewhere and maybe
Well,
some
that
piles
too.
of bones.
That too.
I thought you meant you slaughtered
Very
animals and
damp.
brought them in and made wall paintings.
Well, no, mostly children. I don't really care.
Jesus.
There are bats.
Children are basically animals.
Are you Trebor?
Well, I don't want to go by what my middle name is.
Scott sits in the far back of the cave and just like there's the echo of "No one fucks with grandma. No one fucks with grandma.
Nobody fucks with Grandma. Nobody.
I get what grandma's crazy for."
Grandma's coming.
Don't you hurt my fucking grandma. Don't you make me hurt your grandma.
Fucking Trebor. All right. First question from Twitter. Mimi asks, do you think that Steam nearly having a monopoly over the PC game market is a dangerous thing? I don't really think so. Also, I think a lot of people are now buying stuff from places like Good Old Games, which I actually...
It's even less of being close to a monopoly than it was a couple years ago. I feel
Yeah.
like
There are a lot of huge games that are standalone clients, like League of
a
Legends.
couple years back, I feel like we had even less choices than we do now.
Functionally, it's not even close to a monopoly. They have a lot of mind share, and they probably have the plurality of online sales. But like every free-to-play game has its own launcher. You have Origin, you have Good Old Games, you have Humble, which now has their own store. I mean, there's too much opportunity in the space for Steam to ever really have a monopoly, and it's so easy for a game to just make its own launcher and like make its own digital delivery system that I think having all that choice is good, but I think having Steam as the dominant platform is probably the best we can ask for. Because in an alternate universe, if it was Origin or something else, that would be a lot worse.
Yeah, also, it's not that easy for everybody to distribute themselves. Just ask the guys who made Cube World. G.
What's
Go with
happening
Steam.
above me in my house? Anyway.
Oh God, he's coming for
Trevor!
you, Dan. Dan, lock the basement door. It's too late for your kids and your wife. You need to lock the basement door.
Do you know my name backwards is, boy?
Man.
It's Trevor.
But if you haven't bought...
Trevor's in your home. We gonna get you.
Oh my.
If you haven't bought games on Good Old Games, you should for some stuff because you get a lot of extra shit with it too, which is cool.
It's a good site.
Trevor is here for the zucchini.
He's gonna kill you with it, and he's gonna fuck himself with it. That order.
And I think over time you'll see, as games get older, you'll probably see them go to platforms like Good Old Games and stuff, just so that they're, preserved. And like that's a lot of games. That's the only way that they do get preserved, is being on a service like that. So I think over time, when a game doesn't really have any commercial value left, you'll probably see them go to services like Good Old Games or Humble or whatever.
So, there you go. Moving on to our next question. Eat My Diction 1 asks, will you go camping with me? Not if Trevor's
No, but I
gonna
know
be
someone
there.
who will.
Yeah. I know a dude named Robert.
I try to keep bears out of my campsite as much as possible.
Yeah. I agree.
You might get upset by the fact that I keep tying my backpack up in the tree when I go to sleep. I think that's supposed to frustrate you guys. So,
There
sorry.
you go. We know a guy. John will
We
go
do know a
camping
guy.
with you. He's like right there.
I'll go camping.
Go camping. There you go. All right. Next question from Tumayaz
Yeah.
asks 120 hertz or 1440p monitors. It all depends on what you're looking for.
I'd
Do you
say
care about
120
being
hertz.
good? Do you play primarily FPS games? If yes to either of those, 120 hertz. If you play a
I would say
variety
it-
of games and you want the best visual experience possible, and you don't care about like every little advantage you can get,
Also, you
then
can get
1440.
those both in one package, by the way.
Yes, for $1 bajillion.
Pretty expensive.
Yes.
I'd say it depends on what hardware you have in your PC. If you don't have a really good video card, you probably shouldn't get a 1440p monitor, because it will struggle to run
Yes.
games
It-
unless you're like 680 and above.
You would not believe the chunk it takes out of your FPS between going from 1080p to that. It's pretty big.
Or you can just get max FPS and play 800 by 600.
That's true.
So I recommend 1440 by 900.
There it is. Yes, it was coming.
Yeah, gotta be
Scott's recommendation.
I think
800 by
the
600, 30 hertz.
sweet spot, if you can afford it, is a 1080p 120 hertz monitor. I actually saw there was a Hans G, I think 23 or 24 inch 120 hertz for $150, which almost looked too good to be true
Wow.
Where?
on Newegg.
I want it.
But the 120 hertz prices are coming down quite a bit. I think in the next couple of years that'll be just kind of the mainstream.
Every time I hear the Hans G brand, I always think, like, in my head, it's like, Hans G! Like, it has to be said in the fucking German accent.
Hey, G in German.
I'm Asian, I can't do a German.
very good. Hans G.
Oh, the Hans G!
Oh, Hans G. Very
Very
honorable Hans G.
900,
Hans G. Welcome to Ninja Warrior hosted by Hans G.
Hans G! 1440 by 900
And
championship!
just watch our numbers dropping.
Oh, that's so good.
Just
20
plummeting.
hertz.
I'm happy, so it's okay.
G in German is actually pronounced gay, if that helps at all.
Okay.
Hans Gay.
Yeah.
Gay. The German Wunderkind.
Hans gay. Yeah, it does kind of sound Japanese when you try to do a German accent on
Everything
those
becomes
two.
a bad
Well,
Asian
when you change
accent.
it to Hanzo instead of Hans,
Yeah.
Hattori
makes
Hanzo
more
sword
sense.
from Kill Bill.
It's true.
All right. Next question. We've answered this before, but it's been a while. What was the first PC you had or the first PC you built?
Wait, go to the.
Don't even remember. I think I had like a gate. The first computer I had to myself that wasn't like a family computer was like this, like pre-bought gateway, one of those old ass towers that looked like a play school, like plastic piece of shit. You know?
Yeah, mine was like that, but an E-machine.
E-machine. That was my first computer I ever bought because I had no money and I had no idea what I was doing way back in the day when I was like 13.
I had an E-machine and I played
E-machine.
Zoo Tycoon all day.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the kind of stuff I played, like Roller Coaster Tycoon.
I had like
used to play Counter-Strike Go on a Celeron processor, okay?
Counter-Strike Go?
Yes, or Counter-Strike Source on a Celeron.
Damn, we're
And I'd be
struggling
like,
out here.
And I'd be like, damn, why do I have to use an FPS config to get 30 FPS stable? People are like, you got a Celeron, you fucking idiot. And I'd be like, what does that even mean? And they'd be like, it's not even a
I had a
real
1.8 Pentium
Shit, I'm
4
gonna
with
eat
5
tell
RAM and a
Zuko.
GeForce 4 MX.
Dude, you had such a beast PC at the time. What?
My
My wife is interrupting the podcast.
Wow.
Golf.
Well, the great shit must be going down upstairs, dude. Trevor's here.
Have you seen my giant zucchini, honey?
Oh my god.
Oh, Well played. Well fucking played.
My first
So-
PC was we had like some older Dells
It wasn't Trebor.
that I
Oh,
put
God.
in. I put a 9700 Pro as like my first custom piece back in an old Dell. But I actually, so believe this or not, because the first PC I built was from Newegg, I have the actual order history from March 23rd, 2005, invoice 101789992, that includes all of my PC parts. So I have Lian Lee case, DFI LAN 40. No, that was I think my second. I had a AMD Athlon 64 3500 Plus, an old claw hammer, with a GeForce 6800 GT, two Seagate Barracudas in RAID 0,
Oh man.
and 1 gig of Corsair XMS RAM.
Fucking try hard.
I had a Packard
I had
Bell.
two 6800 GTs and SLI as soon as it was a thing that people could do. To get fucked.
How did your
Wasn't
power
it the
supplies work
6800?
you? How did your power supplies work out for you, John? In the early days. Not well.
Really poorly? No, they blew up. I think I blew up 3 in the first
There was
build I had SLI.
literal fire in one of those builds. pretty
The
amazing.
first computer I
Nothing
remember
worked
ever.
right.
The earliest memory I have of a computer was something. It was like literally a DOS-based system that my dad taught me how to run the type in the command menus how to run Commander Keen. That was like the first. I was like 4, by the way. This was in my old house in Philly, and I moved out of the city when I was like 5. So this is like super early on in life. That's the earliest. I mean, I obviously couldn't tell you the specs of it, but that was like I'm old enough for that, at least.
Nice.
The first motherboard I had was a DFI LAN party, which
That was the legendary
they-
Mobo.
yeah, they were great, but it was a super enthusiast motherboard, and I didn't really know that when I bought it. And so I remember building it and then trying to boot, and like I couldn't boot it, and I had to get on the phone with one of the guys from MLK back in the day to help me like figure out which
hit up
option
with
I had to check.
Could you talk
so
to Munson?
I think it may have been Munson. I can't remember, but they were very helpful. But that was I was 16 when I did that, but I was very proud when it finally booted and posted. There's no better feeling.
Yeah, I had a Packard Bell with 50 megahertz processor. It was beast mode. I had Doom 2, and that was it. And I had Rise of the Triad. So
I one time, when we're talking about real quick calling like support lines, one time I called.
Damn, spit it out.
Sorry, I called the EA Sports like helpline for my Madden '99 game because my players weren't doing the touchdown dances when they got in the end zone. I thought there was something wrong with They would
Imagine that being your job. Fucking some kid is like, hello, I'm having an issue with Madden
And
96.
he was like,
My
I don't-
players aren't dancing when they score points.
I paid for that shit. The guy on the other side of the line, he was like, "Bob," he's like, I don't know what to think. He's like, sometimes it's random. They don't always do it. And I was like, but it never happens. And I only had like, in the whole history of me playing Madden 99, I played a lot. I played a lot of that game. And I only had like 6 touchdown dances.
Oh my
ever.
god, you're terrible! Even child Scott Fisher, I'm gonna even insult this child past version of yourself. You're garbage. You're garbage.
you're done, kid.
I had to admit
Alright.
that. It's been heavy on
Next
me.
question from @itstuffers asks, which podcast member will make the worst household pet?
Alex easily disappears for like years at a time.
Well, he's just a cat then. So
Yeah,
But he's very
ex-
unaffectionate.
Yeah, what did I just say? Worst household pet.
Yeah.
Well, the worst one would be Nick Fenton because he's not housebroken.
Oh,
Uh,
shit. Well played.
Yo, put your
true.
bitch on a leash, Scott.
Yeah,
I don't
raccoons are not real. They can turn on a person.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, that's true. We
That
will
is a
fucking
feral
kill you and give
animal.
you rabies.
that's
We,
true.
we were not meant to be pets. I will fuck up your cat.
Yeah,
That gift that everybody keeps sending me, which you need to stop fucking sending me, by the way. That guy
Is it the
throwing
one
a
of the
raccoon
one-
down a staircase. That's because the raccoon was attacking his dog.
I thought you were talking about like that new raccoon video that's recently gotten popular. Apparently, it was on the front page of Reddit. But it's this raccoon that's running away from a dish bowl for these cats, and it runs on its back feet.
Yeah,
it's
like
running on 2 legs, and it's the most.
It's like holding its ill-gotten gains. Some raccoons are awesome in that they don't give a fuck and they're curious as hell, and other raccoons are total dickwads.
I think that's all raccoons, actually.
Raccoons are generally they're to be avoided. Real life raccoons, especially me, you want to stay away from them. But some of them are very cool. Some of them are just funny rather than rabid and assholes. So,
all right.
But I'm still gonna say Alex.
Someone put Will Smith's face on that raccoon gif.
No. Yeah, somebody did. Yeah, I saw
happened
that
during my stream. It was amazing.
Oh my god! But that makes it so. That makes it.
I'm skipping.
The creepiest thing is that it's like Exorcist Will Smith because the head doesn't turn at all.
He never stops looking at you like the Mona Lisa. His eyes follow you across the room.
Follows you.
All right, next question from SLFan68. What is your favorite game to watch be played competitively? What's your favorite esport to watch? Halo for you? All right. Scott Fisher?
TF2. Oh, sorry.
Counter-Strike 1.6 still.
1.6. TF2 for Blacklightattack. John?
TF2 or Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh, yeah. I'm changing my answer to exactly what John said. Either of those two.
Brandon?
Also, I gotta give appreciation to League just for how huge it is and how much it's done up.
Yeah, I like watching. Still,
I think I'd say StarCraft. I love watching StarCraft.
Is always solid.
I don't ever play it, but it's so much fun to watch.
I'm going with Marvel, baby. Marvel.
When is it?
When is Marvel? Someone tell me.
It's a good question.
I actually love watching StarCraft 2 as well. Love it. But
that was so hype at Anaheim. That was amazing to watch.
Yeah.
Quite hypey.
Quite hyphy indeed. I love watching a league like Korean League, and because I can't understand the language obviously, so it just sounds so like. And I'm just like, holy shit, he just got a kill. Relax. Jeez, I mean, I know it's first blood, but
that's the Korean version of the Europeans scoring a goal in soccer.
Yeah.
That's true.
Pentacryl! Really? That is extremely insensitive.
Pentacryl.
That is extremely insensitive.
I always just picture 5 shrimp.
Pentacryl.
Next question. My wife is asking a question.
Oh.
Why won't I let her get all of a feline friend? She wants to get one of the FIV positive cats from the animal shelter. This cat's fucking terrible. I don't care if they have a disease.
Because you gave her 2 children and you also allowed 2 dogs in the home. The last thing you need is another little shit bucket that pisses all over furniture and makes everything smell like ass.
And it doesn't give a shit about you because it's a cat.
And dogs poop outside. Hey, just real quick, advertisement for cats as pets. You want a box of shit in your house? Get a cat.
There you
just
go.
Saying.
A literal box.
Someone says in the chat.
Wow.
Cats are more appealing now that I live in the city.
Hey, guess what, Ches? Rogan sucks. Your cat sucks. All cats
This is the way
suck.
it works. This is the way it works, though. Cats, if raised non-traditionally, like cats, like allowed to be left alone and do their own thing, become little cunts. But if you raise a cat like a dog, like roughhouse them and like treat, like make sure you know who's boss, they will love you like a dog, and they will be like a dog. I've seen it happen multiple times.
APL the cat whisperer, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, not a cat whisperer. You just treat it. You treat it like a dog. You roughhouse.
You gotta become the leader of that pack.
Yeah, it needs to go to a boss.
What did you? Your accents are all over the place right now. You need to know you are the boss.
Did you just say you need to roughhouse with the cat?
You're fucking. So I can treat my cat like my dog and just pick it up and throw it.
Yeah. Your cat will just go away after that. It won't just.
Cats are just genetically and evolutionarily inferior to dogs as pets.
Yes.
You just gotta stick it in there. I don't endorse that. We've seen how that goes.
So, last question, and this is going to divulge some information about what we're doing at the end of the year. But Darkwing02 asks, what are the chances of a KBMOD spoiler cast for Bioshock Infinite happening before the award show or even at all? That will be part of the award show in that there will be multiple shows.
If we're going to be talking about and discussing a bunch of games at the end of the year, we're going to spoil things.
Yeah, we'll spoil.
Yeah, there will be spoilers for every game pretty much at that point. So
because you have to talk in depth about them, and spoiling things is kind of under the area of in depth.
So
Jack dies at the end of Titanic.
There will be like you know, if we do Game of the Year, we'll be discussing. I'm sure that will be on a lot of people's minds. So we would definitely be spoiling that game at that point for sure. But yeah, that would be what's happening this week on streams. Tomorrow night I will be finishing up Tomb Raider. Tuesday we'll have a special AMA. I'm hoping with Scott as well, but with Ches about his trip.
Oh yeah, Tuesday.
But, yeah. So hopefully we'll have Scott on there as well. But we'll be having something with Ches on Tuesday to kind of recap his trip and play some games. And but everything else should be on the regular schedule. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming out tonight. Thanks to Scott and Nick for becoming one entity. And thanks to Trebor for enriching our lives.
Look at the camera.
And being a sex offender. So, all right, guys, that is it for tonight. Make sure you follow at KBMOD Gaming, like on Facebook, facebook.com/KBMOD, and you can see all our Twitters on the screen. And we will see you guys next time.
Give us one of those iTunes ratings if you listen.
Yes.
That'd be nice.
Please do. Later, bros.
Thank you so much.
Why did you bow towards the microphone? The camera's over there.